In this video lecture, I'm going to explain how to formulate a research question for your project. And we'll go from the research topic towards how we get to the research question. And we'll discuss how to formulate a good research question. First, you have to know what your research standpoint is, or your starting point. It's all about the interest and motivation that you have for this subject. So know well where you start and what your interest is. Then it is important to figure out what are your goals. You could have multiple goals. You could have goals that are important for society, for the research community, for yourself, your career goals, or something else that is important. Maybe you have a supporter or a client and that relates to your goals too. Then it's important to think of how these goals can bring focus in your research project. And these various goals are your framework that you will work with. So it's important to formulate these goals at the starting point. Then from these goals you can think of what is my background, what is the background information that I have. You did the assignment with the 5WH technique, all the who, where, when, why, what and how. And you read some literature, some secondary research that you found that relate to your subject, and from that you can describe some story, and that is the background of your research, and that is very important to know what information is still needed, what is still not known, and what is still a problem that is in this field. And from that you can start thinking of what kind of data do I need, what is my sample, what is my target group, how many people do I want to interview or do I want to survey, is it something that I want to explore or describe, or is there a hypothesis that I want to quantify. So it's all about what information is needed, and maybe you have some thoughts on that already. And then of course, you have some time, you have some budget. So the resources that you have are important as well to know in advance before you continue. Okay, once that is clear, you can come from your research topic towards your research question. You should examine the literature in advance. So if you know what your background is and what the problem statement could be, start reading some other studies. So other researchers have done something that might be different but are interesting for you to know about. In these theories or research that you find in literature, you can find probably some key points that are leading towards a good question, or keywords or questions already that are raised by other researchers. You can follow suggestions from their outcomes, from their results, and you can apply old theories to new settings. Apply these old theories to new settings is often done in research, but might be hard to do as well, especially when you want to solve a problem. This might be too elaborate, but it can help you to frame and to know what is already out there. And then what researchers often do is to challenge findings of others, to figure out did they come up with the right research methods for this problem, and maybe you can think of ways that are different from their approaches. So this is also maybe a bit different for design research where you want to solve a problem. However, what you can do is talking with experts on the subject. They have done a lot of literature reviews, so they are familiar with the research knowledge that is out there. So this can help you to get a grasp quick and soon on what information and research is available for you. And then it can help you also to figure out, okay, I have an expert that is for this theory, and I have an expert that is against this theory. And you have then two opposed opinions that can help in a way to have a contrast idea to figure out, okay, do I go with this expert, or do I have my own opinion in this as well? So talking with experts can help you to come up with good knowledge, good grasp of what is already out there in a quick way. And this can help you also to formulate research questions. What you could do is to find research that is probably done in a country where you will not going, or in context that you will not go to, but you can use these insights and apply it to the new context that you're going. Or you have found a research of things that happen in wintertime, but you're interested how this occurs in summertime. So you could change parts of already existing literature and that can help you in your own research. And then at last is from there, if you have knowledge on all this, you can define the overall project aim and know what kind of result you want to get. So this is important before you can start formulating your research question, is what kind of result are you looking for? If you're a designer, you often are looking for deep insights. A lot of students tend to think of, oh, I need to come up with numbers to prove my point, to prove that the problem is huge. But that is not what you need as a designer. As a designer, you need qualitative insights that give you directions for your solutions. Quantitative insight can be helpful to build your business case. So I'm not saying here that they're not useful, but qualitative results can help you to get good insights, deep insights for your design later on. Okay, very important to know is to understand is why are you formulating research questions? The main idea is that they give you a direction in your research. They give you a framework where you can work in. These are useful for coming up what kind of research method you need, what kind of results you are looking for, and they can help you to make strong conclusions in the end. It focuses the researcher in their search for knowledge. So research questions, you usually have one main question and a few sub-questions. They can help you all kinds of ways in your research project. And they are really important to have when you start setting up your research. What kind of methods are you choosing and selecting? Do you have a descriptive question? Then you need different methods than if you have an explorative method, where you can have more open explorative type of research methods than if you have a descriptive method, or even if you want to prove a hypothesis, then you have an even more strong direction in what kind of methods you need for that. So while formulating research questions, it is very useful for giving you a direction in your research and to create a boundary and a focus for you as a researcher. It gives you a framework while setting up your research, and it points you towards what methods and data you need. So what are the requirements of your research question? They should be broadly formulated, which is different than from your goals, but they shouldn't be too broad. You have to consider the time that you have for your research question. They should be formulated as a question, of course. So it's not a statement, it is a question that can help you and lead you. In design research or research that is needed for finding the right direction for later on, then an open explorative question helps you more than a closed question. So if you ask yourself a question where you could answer yes or no, then you don't need the research. So the answer shouldn't be there, and it should be open and explorative. Use clear and explicit terminology. Don't use words that are hard to understand. And if you need a word in your question that is difficult or has a certain definition that is different from other definitions, make it explicit directly after. In your research question, focus on people and their behavior. So it's not about proving a point or coming up with numbers. No, it is focused on people. And it's focused on understanding what they do, what they need, and find ways that can help you in your design project. And avoid a question like how to solve this problem, or how to reduce, or how to improve. These are more questions that can help you later on when you start designing. But at this point you need a more open question like what is happening, or how do people behave in this situation, or why do they think this is important? And what can help is to have like one main question and a few sub-questions that can support in the giving an answer to the main question. Okay, so on this slide you see 4 example questions. The first 2 are about how to do something, and the second 2 are about understanding about what you want to know or someone wants to know. So think a little bit about these questions. What is a proper research question? What is the difference between these questions? How to design a bike for New Yorkers is the first question. In this question you see design as a key verb. This will help you in your design project, but it is also more about how to design than to solve a problem. So this is a hard question to figure out what you need to do, it's more about figuring out what you need to do than about getting to understand the problem. How to improve biking of New Yorkers in this day and age. There are the 2 things in this example that I think are not helping you. First, how to improve. It seems like a more proper research question than how to design, but basically you're saying the same because you want to improve a situation. This is helpful for designing, but it's not helpful for doing research. And then there is the use of like unspecific word. In this day and age, what does that mean? Is it a whole century? Is it just now? Is it not tomorrow? Is it about what period of time? Is it about people that use the bike for leisure or for commuting? It's not clear in this question, so you could do anything and anything could answer this question. So, looking at the bottom 2 questions, you see a different starting word. So, what? What does or what is? So this helps you to explore phrasing a question like this. You can also think of why, or you could use how, but try to avoid it because it often leads to a more design type question. So, what does a New York experience biking from home to work? It's already more specific than the biking in this day and age. Because you know it's about biking from home to work, it's about commuting. The second, or the 4th question, the second from the second example, is what factors are influencing New Yorkers to use the bike more often to commute from home to work? This is a very specific question, and you will need a specific method that can give the right answer and the right results for this question. But it's really helpful because it is so specific. It will lead to factors, and these factors can help you in design later on as well. you know what it is about, but it is also so narrow that it's not considering the use of bike for leisure, and it's not considering the use of bike in the summer. So depending on what your goals are and what the aim is, you could choose to have a somewhat broader explorative question or a more focused question like the last one. I hope this helped you, and if you have further questions, please don't hesitate to ask your tutor.